rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next order of business is approval of the agenda. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add or alter on the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Support?
Moved and supported to approve the agenda as submitted. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. The next item is approval of the minutes, the regular meeting of August the 12th.
If no one has any corrections or additions, I'll make a motion that the minutes be approved as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the minutes as presented for the August 12th meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. We are up to the financial report.
We began the month of August with $271,436.21, took in receipts of $20,985.92, and made disbursements of $43,114.16, leaving us with an ending balance in the general fund of $249,307.97.
I make a motion to approve the financial report as given.
I second the motion.
Moved and supported to approve the financial report as given. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Okay, we have no correspondence on the agenda. We're moving up to item 2, old business, resolution 2014-11. You remember last month we had a communication from Senator Pavlov, which included a sample resolution, and it was the wish of the board that we adopt such a resolution, and it's on the agenda tonight. And basically it's a resolution opposing the construction of a nuclear waste repository in the Great Lakes Basin. I was in contact with Mr. Pavlov's office, and we will email him this tomorrow, and he can distribute it to all the folks mentioned on here. Their office said they would do that, and I said that was good, and I would not have to do that. So here it is on the agenda.
We need a motion to approve.
Yes.
the
Yes,
resolution.
Adopt.
I move to adopt the resolution.
Support?
Moved and supported to adopt, and you meant resolution 2014-11, right?
Yes.
To adopt resolution.
Resolution opposing the construction of a nuclear waste repository in the Great Lakes Basin.
Okay, moved and supported. Any discussion? We will have a roll call vote, please.
Okay. Dan?
Yes.
Me? Yes. Bill?
Aye.
And Colleen?
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to new business. Item A, our audit presentation. Mr. King's office called today, and because this has to be done in September, unfortunately 2 of his townships are having meetings tonight, so he is coming, but he's going to be late. So if there's no objection from anyone, we'll just kind of bypass A and move on until Mr. King arrives.
All righty.
Okay. Item B. This is listed all the publications basically that we offer to residents and non-residents alike. The county has not had a new plat book since 2010. They finally got them a couple weeks ago. The books cost us $30, and we went up and picked it up. By the time we paid the mileage and everything, we're up to like $34.50. So I would like to add that to the list at a $35 rate to cover our costs.
Support?
Yeah, you can call it a motion, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, moved and supported to add the county plat book to the fee schedule for $35, and that's supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, motion carries. Okay, item C. This is I give you the right one here? I think so. Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, okay.
What? You screwed up?
I,
Got 2014, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I thought it was 2015. I must have stapled the wrong one on there, but I can explain it.
okay.
That's the wrong one.
Basically,
Oh, the wrong name?
I think
I
so.
might have grabbed it wrong. Let me see what the second page shows.
Okay.
The second page is right.
The
Okay.
first page is
The
wrong.
first page, I grabbed the wrong one.
Okay.
Basically, in 2012, we submitted an application for matching money to replace the bridge on Hessen Road. The total cost at that time was over $500,000. And with the engineering shared costs and the township shared costs, it was going to be $22,000. And this year, the county came out with a new program for off-road bridges. And they've also instituted a process where they're going to not charge for the engineering. So by the time you drop the engineering, we would have been down to roughly $6,000. But with this matching money from the local bridge program, we'll be down to $2,995
That's great.
out of a total cost of, which is now estimated at $449,000. Hey, there he is. So we need approval of this so I can submit it to the county. It's a pretty good deal. I think it's very beneficial and saves money.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the St. Clair County Road Commission Off-System Funding Assistance Program. Sorry about the first page.
It's still, at the bottom, it does say in 2015.
On the second page.
No, on the front page. If you look at number 9.
Well, in 2014, it was scheduled for
What
replacement in 2015.
Right.
Okay, well,
So,
Because we have another matching thing from last year that's
Oh.
is almost identical.
I got you.
So I was using that for a reference back to 2012 to see how much we earmarked. Anyway,
All right.
moved and supported to approve that. Any discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries.
It's a good
Now,
deal.
if no one has an objection, since Mr. King is here,
Well, swing back.
boy, you must have rushed, Mr. King.
I did.
We were waiting for you. We weren't going anywhere.
That's okay. That's all right. My nick. I have a little hobby of, I got a cow or two, and I was putting up some hay. I thought, well, I need a little extra time to bail some clear cutting. But my neighbor came down and bailed it for me.
Oh, good, because
Well,
it's
that
gonna
is
rain
another
tomorrow.
township
You're
that
not
had a
gonna
meeting
get
today.
a chance.
I'm sorry?
I thought you had another township with me.
No.
Oh,
Maybe Kathy might have thought that
Oh,
when
I don't
she
know.
was wondering when she called.
That's why we got
Because you
this.
led her to believe it, right?
Oh,
Just
yes.
to give yourself extra time.
Go ahead, finish
I'm
what you're
finish
doing.
passing this out. Yeah, another check. Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it rains about every other day, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
didn't like our check?
No, it's made out to
I
general.
know.
We stuck it in all, we stuck it in the other checks and thought maybe it'd slide through the bank.
And they wouldn't take it?
They looked and they says, "What's this? Who's Mr. Fun?"
Using another one today for no signature. But I told the bank president that I would vouch for the
Which one was that?
Ratties. No signature.
She didn't sign the check.
Oh, I don't sign those
assuming.
checks.
Yeah, but you
Oh.
have to check before we deposit it that it is
there
signed.
was no signature on the check
Oh, you mean for
By
their
the people.
deposit?
by the people. The board came
The
in.
people wrote you a check and didn't sign it.
Yeah.
The board.
A lot of times you put
Well,
it in with
you
a
know.
bunch of other checks, they'll slide right through.
I
That's,
didn't catch
that's the
it,
good
but there's
part
a
about a
payment.
hometown bank is that
That's wrong.
they know that check is good.
Sure.
And,
I just do the amount.
yeah,
That's my.
so that's why we deal
We'll
with
just
hometown
call-
banks.
Are they gonna, oh,
Well, they're gonna
Yeah.
take it.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
We're fine.
Yeah, It's just a
Okay, you
little
wanna run
aside.
us through the audit?
We
Yeah,
can.
go ahead.
Sounds good.
It would, we did the audit, we didn't have any problems, the books were in good shape. And so from that perspective, we don't really have any shortfalls or any deficiencies to report, which is a good thing. This worksheet that I give you we've been doing this for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's kind of nice. It gives you a kind of a view of a little bit of history. Do you want one of these, camera person?
No, I don't need one.
Yeah,
of
I
those.
mean,
Alrighty. And so basically it gives you a 4-year history here from 2011, 12, 13, and 14, and it compares the totals from the various funds. The first fund there is your general fund. The top line there is cash. The cash that you had in the bank or have in the bank, cash, was $523,994. That was for this year, as of March 31st. Last year it was $425,000. The year before that was $304,000, and the year before that was $284,000. So you can see the cash is accumulating, which is a good, healthy thing. And we are now at $523,000. We have accounts receivables of $68,000, which is actually it's your state shared revenues that you're entitled to, but we haven't received the money yet. So we have the state shared revenues. We have other current assets. We have current liabilities. And if you net those 4 numbers together, that's what your fund balance is of $607,000. And you can see that your fund balance has basically steadily been increasing over the last 3
I
years.
got a question for you.
Fire away.
I don't think the numbers are accurate under 2011.
Well,
Well, if you add those up, you're not coming anywhere close to 479, I can tell you that.
oh, yeah,
I know it was less than 385, but I didn't add them up, but just by looking at it.
you're right.
You got 60,000, so you got about 340
you're right. I
something.
mean, it's
There you go.
somebody's formula that wasn't set quite right. And I was wondering how that was working when, cash was less, but
Yep.
the fund balance was more. So somewhere along the line in 2011, I apologize, but the formula must not have added them up right.
Well, as long as this year's right, I'm happy.
This year's right, last year's right, and the year before that is right. At least I'm presuming that they're right, but obviously 2011, it would be somewhere in that 325 range. And so the fund balance has been increasing over the last 4 years. The next section is the revenues. Revenues of property taxes. You can see property taxes are coming back. They dipped pretty low back there 2011 to 12. Intergovernmental revenues, which is your state shared revenues, is $302,000. Your other types of revenues, total revenues was $693,000. Our expenditures was $599,000. So if we subtract the $599 from the $693, it's $94,000. We started the year with $513,000. We add that $94,000 to it. We wind up with $607,000 as fund balance.
Sounds good to me.
Same here.
Yeah, that's very healthy.
Good trend. The
Yeah.
trend line is really good.
Mr. King and his son came in about a month ago. We went over, a few dozen just minor details, and they corrected every one of them. Did a good job.
Thank
It was, just labeling and minor stuff, but it looked like you fixed everything up.
Good. Thank you.
Looks good to me.
Probably in another year we'll give you a draft. That's what we normally do. I don't know why we didn't do that this time. And then that way you can go through it and see what's up, and then if there's any changes we can change it before we actually print. But yeah, it's kind of like I liken it to picking potato bugs. I don't know if you as kids ever had to pick potato bugs, but I had to pick potato bugs when I was a kid. And, you know, you could pick them 10 times and you walk back through and inevitably you'll find 5 more potato bugs. And that's kind of the way it is with these silly audit reports.
My mom used to do that.
It's
Yeah.
kind of the same way with these audit reports. You read them, you double read them, you triple read them, and then when you put them out, the next thing you know, there's still a typo here. Parks and Recs, we have 330,000. That's staying pretty stable. So we have, you know, I mean, compared over the last 4 years, we really, what we've taken in, we basically have spent. This year we actually increased our fund balance by 8,000, but you know, we started with the 321, we end up with 330. But you have a chunk of money there that you know, you can do something with.
I have a question.
Park. Sure, go ahead.
Figure that
Out of
out.
all the communities you work for
Yes,
in St. Clair County, because they
Yes.
all get Park and Rec
they
money,
do.
does anybody have a fund balance in that neighborhood?
Like
No,
this.
not even
I
close.
know that they're telling me that too.
Yeah.
None of them.
I know.
And I don't know what to tell you, because it's gonna take something major to spend this much money. But most of them, they just kinda, well, it's kinda like what you're doing, really. I don't know where this all started, but for the last 4 years, you wouldn't have accumulated any kind of monies of this amount.
Well, we've been purchasing services for residents versus a park. And the trouble is, to do something small, we don't have any property at the hall here. So it'd be off-site. Well, what can you do off-site with the limitations that we don't have a police force? And you don't want to create something that's gonna be annoying to the neighbors. So we're kind of, well, this coming year, we're gonna give that some serious thought of what we
When
can
you
do.
look at maintenance and liability,
I know, because it's not just a matter of building it,
it's maintaining
and it's
it.
maintaining it, and then somebody's gotta spend some time to, you know, make sure it's working and that there's no vandalism and there's no problems. And I mean, you're building yourself a headache. And if you're only gonna have 5 kids every 3 months come and play on it, you know, what's the point?
Mhm.
I agree with you.
So we're gonna work hard on that in the coming year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've called most of the townships that are our size,
Uh-huh.
and every one of them that I talk to, and there's about 5 of them, they all do things at the hall. But we don't have the land.
Yeah.
Our land's 3 miles away, and it's a big parcel, 98 acres. And so we're gonna give some serious thought this year about it.
Maybe we could just build a township hall over there,
That's what I said.
right in the middle of the park. You know?
Well,
Well, it is.
And what would we do with
wouldn't
this?
we
Then
could
we
use
could
Park and
put
Rec's money.
wildflower,
You could
The
move
county.
this there.
Move this?
There you
no,
go.
we don't
No,
want
I
that.
don't think so.
Circumstances.
Building is.
Yeah.
yeah.
What anyway,
But
that's,
you're right, of the
that's-
ones that I'm thinking of, for the most part, the park is sitting right by
Right
the
there.
township hall.
yeah,
Because the one just put in a big walking trailer by the hall.
that would be lovely,
Ideal.
really, would be
Yes.
very nice.
Yeah, and usually the walking trail's kind of around,
Yeah.
you know, some kind of a picnic area,
Right.
and then
And a
the
gazebo or
gazebo
whatever,
and
yeah.
some slides and swings, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you come and take your walk, and your kids play in the park, and
Yeah.
I could.
But seeing that everybody here has between 2 and 5 acres, I just don't know why they, you
Except
know.
for the trailer park, everyone has basically 2 or 5 acres or more.
But
so
don't
if
they
they
have
need
a
a-
park in the trailer park?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So most people that have a private residence, if they want to play on the lawn, they got a lot of lawn to play on.
Mhm.
Well,
So,
yeah.
and what can you offer as far as facilities that
And
aren't going to get vandalized to the extreme?
when we go to the audits, to be honest with you, I don't see very many kids playing on
Anything.
these playgrounds. I
No.
think playgrounds are really good for villages and cities.
Mhm.
You know, because a long time ago when Ryan was a little guy, we lived in town and we went to the town park quite often and
Right.
played on their facilities and enjoyed that. But when
Out in
we
the
lived,
country?
but then when we moved out in the country, we never went to a park. We always just had,
We have a
we had lots of
backyard.
land and a backyard and a go-kart and, you know, and
Yeah.
stuff, just, you know, we just,
We'll see what we can come up with.
Yeah.
but anyways,
Back to the.
it's really kind of a, it's really strange because when they voted in county-wide, you know, you get it whether you really need it or not. It's almost as if, you know,
And therein lies the dilemma. If ever it becomes an unpopular thing and the millage stops,
And we're
then we
not,
tap our general fund to take care of the park and.
Well, yeah, you build yourself a white elephant.
It's gotta be self-sustaining. In 2 years, the millage is up in St. Clair County, so they will be running for a renewal.
Yeah.
So,
We'll
I
see.
suppose, but,
we'll
you
see.
know, I watched the millages go through on this last vote.
Yep.
Everybody, I mean, not everybody, there was one or two, but dozens and dozens, they re-voted the millages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
popular thing.
Mhm. So, we'll
Anyway.
just have to think about it.
Anyways, that's the park. You got 330,000 that you gotta figure out what you're gonna do with. We have the liquor enforcement fund, which is really pretty insignificant. We got 11,000 in there, and like Bill says, we don't wanna accumulate money in there anyways. So we really are trying to whittle away at that $11,000. There's no point whatsoever in having money in that account.
Well, I'd like to get it down, I don't know, at least under 10, if not maybe even in the 6 and 7 range.
Sure.
So right now, yeah, we're paying a little more than we're getting in, but, oh, someday the state's gonna wake up and say, well, if you got any money in that account, we want it. Well, then you get nothing out of it. This way we can pay a little better wage. And the trouble comes is almost all our inspections, which pay this, are from party stores, who pay the state very little as opposed to bars. Years ago, when we had more bars and less party stores, that's how that accumulated so much money.
Oh, I see.
So that's why we're getting less money. Like a party store only pays like $50 a year. Well, we make 12 inspections, we're paying $33 an inspection. So you can see that
11.
that's, or 11,
11.
what? No, 12 inspections a year.
Oh, gotcha. I gotcha.
And they're only paying $50.
I gotcha.
So we pay $33 for each inspection. So we are losing, but the bars, they pay like some as much as $1,600, $1,800, and then we're getting a percentage of that. That's why we get $3,600 a year. So I
But
think
we're gonna get down low.
we're gonna stay,
And we're not gonna be able to sustain that.
well, we're losing about $1,000 a year
You know, we're
at our
gonna-
current rate. By the time we throw in the audit, throw in the
So
supplies.
what are we gonna do when we get down so low that we can't
We're-
afford to pay for the audit?
Well, we're gonna pay less to do the job, which when you figure out they make 11 stops for 12 months, okay? That's what, 131 stops. So, yeah, you might have to drop it down $5 a stop or something, whatever breaks
I
even.
don't
Or
think
open the
that'll
bar.
help us even stay even.
Huh?
I don't think
Yeah, we
that-
could. We could. So,
Kinda we could go back to not paying the audit out of there also.
now we can't do that.
See? Well, there you go.
That's just like the parks, gotta be self-sustaining. We can't touch the money, but we don't have to subsidize it either. So, we'll see, we'll crunch some numbers when it gets under 10 and decide
Does the state require you to do this?
either our constable does it, or you can have the
Police
police
force.
department. Well, then they get the money, and
Mhm.
their guys do it. So we like the local control. We don't make any money on it.
Sure.
No,
The constable does a good job, he gets to know everybody. And once we get under 10,000, it won't be this year, one more year, it'll be 2 more years, then we'll crunch some numbers, and we may have to reduce it by $3 an inspection. So that, it would probably take 20 years to get down.
wow.
So, but if one more bar opens, we'll be in the black again. And now
There
that
you go.
we don't have any heavy populated areas, because they are changing the law for liquor licenses for populated areas, where they'll, used to be based solely on 1,500 residents for a bar, but now they're gonna change it. If you have a downtown or something, they can issue more. So, who knows what happens in the future? We're good. And if you don't like it, you can just turn it over to the sheriff's department.
Oh, yeah,
So it's not like you're cornered in there.
sure. That's it for what I have. And then if there's anything in the audit report, if you just went over it, and you, Bill, if you've gone through it again, if there's any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll do my best to answer whatever questions that you have in the audit report itself.
No, look good to me.
Okay,
When
good.
I picked his brain.
That didn't take long.
Okay, I'm glad.
Anyway, along with the audit, King & King submitted a proposal for our contracts up this year for a new contract. I've discussed it with him, but we have the initial information he sent us. we're kind of still in negotiations a little bit, I think.
Okay,
I've been pushing for some type of opt-out language. And we just touched base again yesterday, was it?
we did. Yep.
So,
And I talked to Ryan about it. He doesn't have a problem with that either,
Okay.
at all. You know, I'm presuming that this isn't necessarily, hey, I found somebody else to do it $100 less, so,
No.
so
No,
we're gonna switch,
that's
so,
not-
so we're gonna switch.
that's never
It-
gonna happen.
But if you come to a situation where, let's say the state doesn't require you to have an audit every other, you know, they go to every
Every
other
year.
year, and you say, hey, look, we don't need an audit, we aren't required to have an audit, we don't want, now there's townships and villages and cities that get audited even though they're not required to by law. So just because you're not required to,
Understand.
doesn't mean that you automatically don't get audited. But if you decide that you don't want to get audited, and you come to us and say, hey, we're not required by state law to get audited, and so, you know, we really don't think it's fair that we honor this contract simply because we signed a 5-year contract with you, we'd be okay with that. Yeah, we're, and if you come to us, you know, if we insult you too many times and, you know, and you just don't like us anymore, you know, we're okay with that too.
You only come once a year, you can insult all you want.
Well, you know, I mean,
No,
but I understand what you want in your opt-out, and that's okay with me.
Okay.
That's all right. You know, and I think that I think we've worked together long enough that we kind of know each other, and we're willing to, you know. So I really don't know what would cause this, but I could understand, especially if the state said, hey, we're going to up the 4,000 to 5,000, and we don't need an audit, we don't want an audit, and you come to us and say, hey, you know, there's an opt-out out of this, we just as soon not get audited this year because we're not required to.
Well, opt out
That'd
or
be okay.
renegotiate or something, but it wouldn't be for the cost. It would be if other circumstances came up that would possibly affect it.
And that could very well be.
No one has a problem with the service you perform. I think you do a good job.
Well, thank
No,
you.
And,
believe me, it's going smoothly.
I have not
smoothly.
priced around, other than I asked the other townships how much they pay.
Sure.
That was my pricing around. I didn't call any auditing firms and say, give me a bid. I did not do that.
Sure. Sure.
I'm a little concerned about the parity issue,
The what?
parity between other townships and that are
Well, there is a
similar to
little
ours.
difference between some, and we spoke yesterday about it. Or is there any hope in that direction or not?
Well,
Well,
Burlington is not Burlington. Brockway, sorry.
No, Columbus.
Columbus.
Yeah, Brockway we discussed on Brockway.
Right.
I talked about Brockway. What he explained to me is that these townships have been him for a long time. And when you're with a person, you get a little better price. You started out way lower than now. We joined later, so this is where our price is.
And we're working on these other townships. See, we would like to bring you all to the same place. And we'd like to bring them up to where you're at. We don't really want to bring you down to where they're at.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so that's
But
kind of
that's
where
just- that was-
that's kind of where we're going. And Columbus's bid is coming up
Next year.
this next year.
Right.
And when it comes up this next year, they're going to get bumped again because they're kind of lower than everybody else, and so you know it kind of works that
I
way.
don't know if they'll get bumped 20%.
No, they probably won't, but we're working in that direction.
Well, see, you
Good luck
kind of
with
meet
that.
in the middle. See, they bump them up halfway and us down.
That's
Compared-
what I- yeah, split the difference.
Well, what we're paying them, and he does twice as much as what Moran did, and Raymond. I can't see beating them up over it. If you want a lower price,
I'm not
let's.
beating anybody up.
No,
I
no, no.
like your work. I mean, I
Yeah,
just,
I would say
looking
go
at
with
our-
the
at the township's budget,
6,500
that's
for 5 years, then we get a lower price.
And that's locking it in for inflation too.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Understand.
remember that.
I
Yeah,
understand. We paid $67.50 the last 3 years. I understand that.
and we go to 6,500.
But I have to question that, you know, you do an almost identical township.
It's close. But we was with Columbus for a long time. And so, you know, and we're working them up in that direction. You know, things start out different too. I mean, anyways, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah, go with that, go with that. It is what it is.
All right,
Okay.
if
Well, that was-
Go ahead, finish, and then I'll.
Well, what I kind of asked him indirectly before is there room to discuss that, or is this your best and final?
I think this is it. I think we're gonna lock it in for 5 years, you know, and if inflation's rolling at 5% a year, you know, that's your 20%, and you know, you know, when we think in terms of all the administrative work that we used to have to do, which was way less than what we have to now. GASB,
The GASB alone.
the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, keeps dumping more and more work on us, and our paperwork keeps escalating up. And at the same time our paperwork keeps escalating up, we try to keep our price fairly, you know, set. We try to be fair. I think if you checked with Plant Moran, Stuart Beauvais, Raymond Group, you're gonna find that we're really, really,
Low.
yeah, competitive, you know? And
I didn't
so,
say you weren't competitive.
He just wants a deal.
well, it's okay.
Part of the
He gets-
job.
It's part of the job, and
But
you know,
he's getting
it's
5
okay.
years out of it too, so he knows for the next 5 years,
That's what
he's got Casco Township to audit.
And he's also giving your opt-out thing, so I think it's a good compromise. And I make a motion to accept the 5-year deal with King and King.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported, but you can't really approve the language because we haven't added the opt-out language.
That's all right, and you can accept it with the putting it
Proviso, the
out.
motion is that.
Contingent on.
That we-
Yeah,
that we get the
proviso
out-
that that
Right.
opt-out language be included.
Take
Contingent
contingent
upon
that
the
the
opt-out
opt-out language is put into our 5-year agreement.
Opt-out language included.
I think that language is important,
Yeah.
less for Lane than for the consistency between the contracts we currently have and any others that we might engage in the future. Sort of Casco's approach to those things, to have
Well,
that
it's just
there.
the uncertainty of the future. You know, when the state mandates and the county mandates everything you do, you know,
And we don't know, I mean, we 5 years is a long time. It was really something though, I was talking to Carlton Township in Saginaw County today, because I had to get some property tax statements for a client on an income tax issue. Had nothing to do with it, but anyways, I was talking to the township manager over there, and after we got done, I said, "Oh, by the way, you wouldn't be interested in a bid proposal?" And she says, "Oh no, we just got a bid proposal, and it's a 5-year bid." And so, you know, they extend out for a long time too. You know, I was quite surprised that they would put, you know,
Yeah.
so anyways.
Anyway,
Yeah, I moved with the office personnel that, and it's important, they like working with you a lot.
and our job is,
Obviously, you do a good and responsible job, so.
and every year, they put a bitter spin on it, and it's easier on us.
No, and you get a lot of education along the way,
Oh,
from
yeah.
what you said, so.
Yeah, we do.
That means a great deal.
That really has reflected in your price, even though we're not going down necessarily.
We
We're
have-
not going up. If you
I
have-
agree with
You
you.
know, if you take all the years that we've been doing this now, not all the years, but you know, inflation would take you to $8,000-9,000, but that's not happening. And the reason that that's not happening is because Patty does a really nice job with the books, and so
Thank you
yeah.
very much.
We have a good set of books, and as our books keep getting better, we do literally spend less time, which means then that we can do all the extra paperwork that GASB's dumping on us and still keep your price competitive
Yeah.
and keep it stable. Now, we're not dropping it, but we're not raising it either.
Right. Okay.
okay.
We need to
There's
vote on it.
there's a motion to approve a 5-year audit contract with King and King for $6,500 per year. And that opt-out language agreed upon by both will be included in the language.
It's contingent on the opt-out language being included.
Yep, and I'll run it by you, and you can you
Yep.
decide if it's okay.
Yeah, we'll type it in and then we'll re-sign it.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote.
Okay, Dan,
Yes.
Pat, yes. Bill
Aye.
and Colleen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for coming.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now,
Yeah.
there's one last question that I
Oh.
have.
Well, fire away.
Okay.
Was the last time that the staff was going out of the office, we were expecting a baby.
That's what I was just gonna ask you, the grandbaby.
Ryan was expecting a baby.
Yeah,
So-
he's had his baby, she
I'm
has.
sure
Yeah.
that he has, but
What'd you
we
get?
have not heard anything about it.
It's a little girl,
Wonderful.
Amia.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Mia.
yeah,
Oh, gorgeous.
yeah, a beautiful little girl. Chubby, she's just as fat.
Wow.
Just cheeks are out, just kind of, yeah.
Good
She's
for
getting
her.
lots of milk, I'm telling you.
Good for her.
How many
Well, we were
grandchildren?
curious.
Ryan has 4 children, and then I have 4 other than that. My
Wow.
2 daughters
8
have 2,
grandchildren.
8, and 1 more on the way. So
Oh,
I have 9 here.
There's good. Building a dynasty.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Baseball
And
team.
they're all ready to become auditors?
Some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think my daughters are gonna go get into the accounting world.
Mm-hmm.
No, one's a teacher and one's still in college, but she's not looking to be an accountant.
Mm.
She's the one that helps you
Congratulations.
during the summer though.
She is, Angela, yeah, she's actually in
Sweetheart.
thank you.
Mhm.
She's in pre-med, so she's
Oh,
hoping to be a
even
doctor.
better.
That's right. That's right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
for
you
your-
very much.
Sure.
Everything we've done
Okay.
in the audit, we appreciate it very
All
much.
right, we're all set for today then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all set.
I'll email you a couple options on
Yep.
that opt-out thing and give me a call or email back, say what you
Yeah.
want and throw it in.
We'll do that.
We'll tell
Kathy will probably get that taken care of.
Yes.
Get that to you so that you.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
Okay.
Sounds
All right, have a good
All
night.
right, we'll see y'all.
Safe travel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hour drive.
okay, moving on. Item D, appraisal authorization on the table in front of you was an addition to this. And basically, our attorney for tax tribunal work recommended earlier, a couple months ago, that we get an appraisal. Our assessor contacted a firm, got a price on the appraisals. There's been no progress made with the applicant in regards to a settlement. So as we're nearing the deadline to make a decision, the deadline will come before the next board meeting. So I have it on the agenda. There's also a communication from our assessor on the table with the addition. And basically, we need approval that if the decision is made to go ahead with the appraisal, that we will do that. Now, the appraisal is estimated, and I gotta find it, I think it was $5,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2,500 for each report and 2 reports, right?
And that is without the legal costs of sending our attorney to Lansing. So it is costly. I don't know if we'll do it, but I
Okay.
need to have the flexibility that if we decide it's
To order it.
the thing to do, that I can't wait to the October board meeting to do it. So
Right.
that's why it's on the agenda tonight.
I'll move that we approve the supervisor to request or obtain an appraisal if that appears to be necessary with this particular situation.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported to give the supervisor authority to approve the appraisal as outlined in 3D with an estimated cost of $5,000. And down the road, there will be costs for legal fees if we go to the Lansing. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll just have a regular vote. How's that?
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, motion carries. Item E. Every township is supposed to have a construction board of appeals. We have one, and, but their terms are up. We thought it was a 3-year term, but the MTA says it's only a 2-year term. So, in your packet, I think I put a copy of
Our letter.
the letter we sent 2 years ago to these gentlemen. I just did this so you can get their names right and everything. And we did it at the October meeting 2 years ago. So I would like to have a motion to reappoint from October 14 to October 16. And the three names are Lyle Ballard, Robin Caruso, and Steve Nickel. We have not had a need to utilize them, but if someone feels they are not being treated fairly in the construction trades, they can appeal to a construction board of appeals for decisions, like a zoning board of appeals for zoning. So that's what we need, is a motion to appoint these gentlemen for the 2-year term.
I so move.
Support.
Moved and supported to appoint the three gentlemen I mentioned to the Construction Board of Appeals from October 2014 through October 2016. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Okay, the next item is item F. This is our yearly thing, and we just talked about the park and recs thing. Do you want to go to this or not?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. The last page is the request for 2014 local millage distribution for parks and recreation. And did I give you the list of each? It's not here. It is because we had a sheet last month, I think that listed what every township got.
Yeah,
And
we didn't write it down.
We need to move to make the request again?
yeah, I was looking at the
That's all,
amount. I'm not
okay.
100% sure the amount on here is the right one. Because this is kind of last year's,
Yeah, 8,000.
and I didn't bring it along. But it's the same amount, whatever is allocated to the township from property taxes, from the millage. It's like 16 something. But I should have threw it in there, I'm sorry. But anyway, we can approve the application. And the numbers are what they are, they just give you it for information. But this is the thing that we turn into them,
So it'd be
to
about.
show what we spent last year and what we spent it on.
I move that we reapply for the Parks and Rec distribution this year with the correct numbers inserted.
Right.
So this has to be the correct one. This is our new email address.
These are the correct numbers, but they're not how much we're gonna get the check for.
Oh,
This is the audited numbers.
so we're
believe.
gonna make them, well, that's what we have to send in, right?
Yeah, but that's from 14, which ended the fiscal year. Now we're into the 14-15 fiscal year.
But this is going,
So moved.
Well, what do we?
Hang on, let's get it
we
straight.
need the information.
It says 264. Yeah, okay. See, if you look on the first page, which is our audit from back in March,
yeah.
the 17,264 is what we got last year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the number that we send in on this, and then they send us our percentage of the park and rec millage.
So-
And the sheet I gave you last month listed all the townships, and ours was 16,8 or something, which it really doesn't matter
Matter.
because you're only gonna get what you're gonna get.
Right, so we
So
can
what's
still
the
approve
motion?
that.
Yep, we can approve it. If
We're-
somebody supports Dan's motion.
Well, what is?
I'll
his-
support it.
What did he move? I don't have a
To-
language.
That we file.
Approve
To-
the
the
request for the
request
local
for
millage
local
district.
Millage distribution.
Okay,
Parks and Rec millage
okay,
distribution.
got it, thank you.
I'll support that.
Okay, moved and supported
Sorry about
That's right.
to approve the request for parks and recreation millage distribution from St. Clair County. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, motion carries. Okay, moving on. Item G. We've been talking about this the last couple of years at one of the prior meetings. The board said go ahead and get bids. It was very hard to get bids because everybody is so busy. I did get 2 bids. They're comparable to the service. And if you decide to do it,
One's twice as much as the other.
they are. And I don't know, other than they're just that busy or what. Last year, I got a couple of bids, and they were lower because this year we've expanded the bid to include replumbing the restroom in the offices all the way out to the tank.
Right.
So last year, they were somewhere between 6,400 and 7,000. One bid last year was 10,000 almost. So,
On the Hodges bid, is the 350 for the new tank top in addition, or is it included? It seemed to be included.
no, what I asked Mr. Hodges for is they make two different pumps.
Yes.
And one costs 8,900 and one is 300.
Mhm.
I said, tell me which one you're using, so if another person gives me a bid and the bids are
Oh,
close,
gotcha.
I know it's apples to apples. Okay?
Gotcha.
And I think with Mr. Capozzo, I did mention that, but I don't think I stipulated he should
Doesn't
put it on the
matter.
bid. But if the bids had been close, I would have double checked
Double.
that.
I move that we hire Hodges Trucking to put in a septic field for us,
I'll support.
as proposed.
Moved and supported to approve the bid from Hodges Trucking for an amount of $8,434.64 plus the cost of permits. I didn't have them included because they're the same for everybody, and it is what it is. We have to pay it anyway, so
Right.
they either add it on the bill or they don't. The second bid was from
Capozzo.
Pozo and Sons, and that amounted to $16,300. So your motion was to approve that bid plus the permits.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd like to at least have clarity on what pump they're gonna use, so that,
Wait, didn't he have the brand on here? No.
Yeah.
well,
Zoll.
yes, is he gonna use the Zoller half
Yep.
horse pump
Yep.
at $350? That's included in the price?
Right,
Okay.
that is.
It is.
I just wanted to understand
Yeah.
what that was all
Yeah.
about.
What they do is they put a plastic basket down in the sump pump, and then the pump goes in the basket. And then as they wire that, they also wire an alarm system back,
I saw that.
so if there's a malfunction, that it sounds an alarm in the hall.
And you don't overflow in the toilet.
Right.
Yay.
So you know ahead of time. But I think it's time we do it. I mean,
Yeah, I do too.
it's not the payback isn't overnight, but I think in the long run it would be beneficial. Okay, moving and supported, I'm not saying it again, is there any discussion? You wanna change the tape first?
Yeah. Oops. There you go.
Okay, moved and supported to approve the bid for Hodges Trucking. You should've got all this on the first tape.
I
Yes, we
said
did.
it already, huh?
Is there any discussion? I guess we'll have a roll call vote on this.
Roll call vote. Okay. Hang
Yes.
on.
Did
Dan,
you say yes? I thought-
that's
I
fine.
thought you
Dan,
said
close
Dan.
enough, Dan.
Okay.
Pat, yes, Bill,
Aye.
and Colleen.
Yes.
Now, the only snag we might hit is the election, because I don't want work being done at the election. And I already told him that. So,
He can do it before November.
well, and if not, unless we have a crazy fall, he could probably do it after the election. It's
Okay.
not gonna take him that long.
Uh,
But I already told him that, the
Yeah.
time period at the election, no, everything's gotta be working and you can't
Yes,
be
please.
digging and stuff.
No.
Okay, moving on, item H. Our building inspector has requested a pay increase. Not to get into too long a story, but basically townships, when they charge for a permit, they reimburse a portion of that permit to the building inspector. Many of them do it, it's predicated on the cost of the building, and I put that in there just to give you a reference, it's the last page. And at $45 an inspection, which is the way we pay, our inspector does pretty well on homes, but he doesn't do very well on pole barns, which is the majority by far of our permits. A couple of the neighboring townships that do pay the same method we do, they are paying $50. So it's not unreasonable, he hasn't had a raise in 5 years, was it?
Right.
So,
I move that we provide him, our inspector, a raise of $5.
well, basically the request was that on our fee
$45
chart,
inspections.
all the $45 inspections will be changed
The
to
others pay the
$50.
same.
Our other
Support.
supported. Our other inspectors are paid on a different basis. They get 75% of the permit fee.
Right.
So, okay, moved and supported to change the fee schedule for inspections by the building inspector that are currently $45 to $50. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstaining, motion carries.
I have a question, I don't know if it's this spot in the agenda, but I didn't quite understand that sheet.
Well, that's what I kind of touched. Okay, if you look at this sheet, the first part on the left is what you charge by the value of the building.
Yes.
Okay, let me example. If you have, the top is for homes. Okay? If you have a 2,500 square foot home,
Mhm.
the estimated cost to build that house is $140,175, and that's given by the state. They have a chart. Under this, the method where they reimburse by a percentage of the permit is $595, and the inspector would get $446.
Mhm.
Now, if our inspector made 10 permits, he would be even. Okay? And he usually makes 11, so he does good until he gets up to 3,000 on the homes. Above that, no, he doesn't do nearly as well as the other inspectors. The bottom is where he really gets penalized. If you look at the far right, those are the number of inspections. He usually does 4. So he comes out ahead on little bitty buildings. When he gets, look at the last one for a very large barn, 10,000 square foot pole barn. He would get $767 if he was in the neighboring township. And here he's going to get 4 inspections, $180. So he really comes out
Yeah.
low there.
Gotcha.
So that's what it meant. I know it's hard to read.
Yeah, I need a better table, but.
Well, I did it about 4 different ways, and no matter how I did it,
It's the labels the labels are missing, that's all.
Okay.
I would have been
well, that's good.
fine
Okay.
otherwise.
Okay, we're up to payment of the bills.
Any question on the bill? Then I make a motion to pay the bills?
Support.
Moved and supported to pay the bills. Any discussion? We have roll call vote, please.
Dan,
Yes,
Pat, yes, Bill,
Aye.
and Colleen.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, there's no citizens, so we
no citizens. Anyone have anything they'd like to?
yeah, with respect to the cleaning issues, did that get kind of resolved or not? Or should I ask?
Well, you know, the person did better, but I really haven't questioned everybody if they're satisfied.
And we haven't talked to Bonnie.
So, no, it's not settled. How's that?
I just appreciated your approach of giving her a chance to fix it.
Well,
I mean,
the main,
because, and to understand exactly what she needs to do that.
the main problem, or one of the concerns, was addressed. But as far as the other ones, you're right. We should sit down with her.
Yeah, she needs to know
Clarify.
what she needs to do to keep the
Yep.
contractor, or else she doesn't keep it,
Yep, you're
You're
right.
you know.
All right.
Okay, I guess just for information, I didn't put it, I don't think I put it in the update, did I? That counties put back voting on the ORV ordinance until 2015.
Really?
Yeah, it went,
Good.
Chicken.
so. That's life.
Say
No,
until when?
That's politics.
2015.
So we'll have to pose it then too.
Oh,
Unless
yeah,
they change it.
We'll bubble.
Bill will stand.
Their
for it.
excuse was very bad, why they're
Right.
doing it. Well, they said they wanted a unanimous vote. Come on.
Well, that's never gonna happen.
So, we'll see what happens. Okay, anyone else have anything?
No.
We're up to adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Moved and
Support.
supported to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned.